but we're glad that you at least stayed for us. We are Spectre Security, here to present to you today the Spectre Patrol 1, aka SP1. My name is Jeffrey Quinde. I'm the electronics engineer here.
My name is Ryan David, and I'll be a software engineer.
I'm Christopher DeSantis. I'm also an electronics engineer.
I'm Christopher Hardy, software engineer.
Just a quick outline of what we're going to be consisting of today. We're going to go through our motivation towards our project, our requirements that we used, our decision matrix with it, our decision with using those requirements, and a test plan, and other topics that I included as well.
So let's talk about our motivation, our market pain. Automation has affected our society in a lot of ways. It's an unavoidable trend. With that, if we can automate the parking lot security role, we can help save businesses a lot of money, which in turn will increase security efficiency. Let's give a quick example. If Manhattan Colleges employs 4 security guards to patrol the parking lots, if we can have one of those guards controlling our system, the other 3 can help to the main campus to help other students, for other events. We aim our system to be super low cost with the development board that we have chosen. We chose a Raspberry Pi, and we'll explain why later. And let's see.
So as a brief system description, what will happen here is a car will enter into the parking lot and it'll be stopped by our gate. As that's happening, a picture will be taken captured by a Raspberry Pi. This picture will then be processed. It will search for a license plate and then eventually get to the individual characters in the license plate. After those characters are obtained, it will be looked up in a database to see if it will be inside. If it's in, and it will allow access into the car, the arm gate will move up, the car will pass, and when there's no longer an obstruction, the gate will come down and be ready for the next car.
So these are our system requirements. We need Wi-Fi to be able to communicate between the Raspberry Pi and our database, which is located within a Windows app. And our power supply will be a wall outlet, which is 120 volts. And due to the nature of our project, somebody is going to pull up to the entrance and wait there for our system to run the algorithm. And so the response time has to be very quick because we don't want them to wait too long to enter our parking lot. And the comparison between the text in our database and the text that is retrieved from our images has to be accurate, so we can compare them accurately. And also, like a security guard will have like a manual override feature. So if there is a problem, they will be able to alleviate the problem. And stretch requirements, these aren't like absolutely necessary for our system, but if you were to actually implement this in like the real world, you would have to account for like the weather, so you would have to have adequate weather protection. An intercom system, basically so the driver can communicate with the security guard, and then the security guard can implement the manual override. And adequate lighting, because it's based on pictures, so if the picture quality isn't good, then we can't make a proper or an accurate comparison.
Now what we see here is a high level model diagram of our system. As you can tell right at the middle, you see the heart of our system, the Pi, which is connected to our camera, microcontroller, and our Windows app. Through the ultrasonic sensor that we use, it is sent signals back and forth toward the microcontroller to the Pi, which signals our camera to turn on and look for the character recognition towards the plate. Once that image of the plate is captured into the Pi, character recognition is captured there. The character recognition is sent into the database, which our database then looks for real-time updates of it.
So as mentioned previously, the Raspberry Pi was chosen. The decision matrix here compared the Raspberry Pi and the NVIDIA Jetson TX1. Right off the bat, I'll let you know the TX1 is much better, but the main downfall is at the cost section. The Raspberry Pi with camera is only $60, while the Jetson is $600. It's an order of magnitude greater in cost. Now, we've assigned 4 attributes that we thought was going to be the most fair to pick the system. And if it turns out that our Raspberry Pi will not meet our rapid response time requirement, then we will move on to the Jetson. So let's begin with our key modules. We'll talk about plate recognition and character recognition. First, the image is captured, and then we will detect for a license plate, the rectangle. And then we will perform image processing algorithms onto the plate. It would either be grayscale or contouring effects, and the grouped text would form a smooth contour. So that would be taken out, and we would perform more processing onto it for character extraction. Once character extraction is performed, we will classify it using our convolutional neural network, the CNN for short. Our CNN will recognize our characters and send it to the app. A convolutional neural network is a machine learning process in which a system can easily identify what makes two images different or similar. It does this by distinguishing features on the pixel level. And right now I will compare a common use case versus our system. So in normal neural networks, their handwritten character recognition is most popular, but there's some problems with it. Handwriting is different from every person on this earth. There's slight variations in the way you write A or I write A or I write B. But with our system, we're trying to figure out standardized fonts because everybody has a license plate. And in America, these fonts are publicly available to us, which would make our system slightly accurate off the bat.
Here we see the use of our ultrasonic sensor. We implemented the ultrasonic sensor due to one problem that we saw. Great, character recognition, that's great and all, but how are we going to give access to the car to come in or not, given the character recognition is correct here? The use of two ultrasonic sensors, one before the gate and one a little further after the gate, fixes that problem for us. With the use of the ultrasonic sensor, sensor 1 prior to the gate would emit a ping, and that ping will come back as an echo. That echo, it comes back at a time iteration between the time going to the obstruction, which is the car, right before the gate, to back to the device itself. That time iteration is multiplied by our speed of sound, which in this case is the normal speed of sound, which at this temperature normally would be at 68 degrees, divided by 2, which at 68 degrees converted to centimeters per microsecond is at 0.034 centimeters. Divided by 2 just because we only need one distance, the distance from the actual obstruction, which is the car, back to the module. From here, this distance is saved within the microcontroller. That distance is continuously ran until the character recognition has occurred. Once the character recognition has occurred, the gate is open. Now the car progresses to go further. Second sensor continuously sends pings out. That ping has never returned either because there is no obstruction, so it's infinite, so there is no echo returning, or the initial distance is, for let's say standard-wise, maybe 200 centimeters. Now with the obstruction going past the gate, coming to sensor 2, would sense that obstruction, change from either infinite or 200 centimeters down to 45 centimeters, would sense that obstruction, causing the gate to come back down with a signal to the microcontroller.
So in order to control our gate, we're going to use a motor, and basically what we have to do is determine the torque necessary to move the load, and basically that means that the system is dependent on the mass of our load. So basically what we have to do is account for the forces acting upon the arm, which is probably going to be like a PVC pipe, and based on that we have to apply a force that will move the arm. And once we find the torque, basically we can just go to like any manufacturer spec chart, and they list nominal torque, which is the torque that is recommended for the motor. So basically once we find the torque, we can go to the chart and then look for a motor that would satisfy our requirements, and then go up and then look at the voltage, and then we'll know how big our motor will have to be and how much voltage we'll have to drive into the motor.
So one of our major problems is what happens if we can't recognize the characters. There's many external factors that can happen. External factors that we know and that we don't know. Ones that we do know are such as if the license plate is dirty, or the license and we can't locate the license plate, so we can't obviously recognize the individual characters. We also, if there's snow covering the license plate, we can't locate the license plate and get the characters. So in these unique situations, we'll have to manually override the gate so that the cars can pass through. In situations where lack of lighting or shadows, we can prevent that by just simply having an overhead LED light to open the car. For our system, if there's no power, then the system won't work. So what we'll have to do is manually leave the arm open for cars to pass. Similarly to if if there's no internet connectivity, we cannot check the database for proper for the license plate, and then the gate will remain open. So our test plan, because each individual component can individually work, we'll test them individually, and then as we progress, we'll combine them so we can further test and debug the system. Our main, the main bulk to this will be our CNN, and in order to provide training for our CNN, it will be a supervised training. We'll have to go out and manually get data. So we'll actually go out and take pictures of different license plates at different angles at different times in order to simulate this and train our neural network to recognize the data. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get 100% right every single time. If we can get 95% of the time, that would be great. The other 5%, we likely know why it didn't recognize. It's likely because an 8 was recognized as a B, or an I was recognized as an L, or O was recognized as some other character. So when we test with our database, we can test all these different plates as well. The likelihood of two cars having such similar plates are unlikely. So it'd still work out, and we'd have a well working system. This is our bill of materials. We estimate that everything will cost a little over $200. Thankfully, we already have a Raspberry Pi and Arduino, so we'd be able to meet budgetary constraints. Most of the parts are in making the arm gate, and the motor is also the most expensive part.
This is our schedule. We plan to finalize our design by the end of December, and then we can get into actually taking pictures of license plates, obtaining our materials, and then once we obtain our materials, we'll build it, and then we hope to finish that process by early April, and then test, debug, and then we hope to have our final system out by our deadline.
Now, in summary, the business can better allocate existing entity of security resources to other tasks in order to improve efficiency with our system. On top of that, the availability to our new tech can also be implemented within any business size, just because of its low cost, just because of the low cost of the item. And lastly, our system will allow seamless integration with without the use of stickers, RFIDs, transponders, and clickers. Thank you very much for listening, and any questions?